Hello, and welcome back to Chris G Photography. And what I'm hoping is part two of a three-part video about my journey in photography. If I'm honest with you, I did a video just like I did yesterday. Got out of the house, got in my truck, drove around for a little while, and shot a video, which was okay. But when I got home, I realized that I kind of deviated from the script I wanted to use, and so I decided to start over. So I am sitting at my kitchen table. I would normally be in my office, but my wife is in there running the paper shredder. So I am out here at the kitchen table. So if a dog jumps on my lap or my wife runs by, please forgive me. That's what you do when you kind of work getting out of the house. But anyway, where we left off yesterday was I told you how I got into photography in the late 80s, worked on my portfolio all through the 90s, and by the early 2000s realized that I had to, it was make or break time. I had to make this my profession or I had to make a very difficult choice. At that point, after a lot of hard work, I did decide it was time to get out of photography, and there were really three main reasons that led to my decision. The first one was the economy. Jenny and I did our very best to get a business going in the early 2000s. But if you recall, that's when the housing bubble burst. Everybody was refinancing their homes and getting home equity loans and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden the housing market crashed, and a lot of people lost their homes because of that. And Jenny and I were amongst those. We actually ended up having to short sell our house, and we lost a lot of money because we had taken out a lot of equity and did things like pay off a truck that we ended up selling just a few years anyway. So that was worked in the cost of our house. So I made a lot of financial mistakes in those days, and which led to, and a lot of people made the same mistakes. And the second reason reason I walked away from photography is actually related to the first. Is Jenny and I in the early 2000s, right about that time, very bad timing, again decided to go all in, and we hit the art show market. We bought a tent, we framed up a bunch of prints, we scheduled 3 shows, 2 here in the Denver metro area and 1 actually up in the mountains in Breckenridge. And we got this was brand new then, but we got a little card reader, so we could run credit cards and everything, costing several $100s. And the truth is that we fell flat on our face. We failed. We had literally sank everything we had into this. Jenny spent a lot of time developing a website. The idea was to promote the website through the art shows. And although we had a lot of people come by our tent, really loved what we were doing, people were just not buying. I sold some work, but not enough. And throughout the years, I had developed some clients. I did make some money taking pictures, but it wasn't really enough to justify it. I could not ever get over that threshold of getting over the threshold of becoming a professional photographer. Photography is expensive. And with me at the time selling cameras, I wasn't making a lot of money doing that. I was an awful salesperson. I ended up getting out of photography retail. Before that, I just wasn't good at it. When you're trying to sell cameras on commission and feed a family and feed a photography career, it doesn't work. And so that led me to that's one of the reasons also giving up photography. Another major reason I walked away from photography was the economics were bad. We didn't work out anything. And another major reason is digital photography. I was heavily invested into film. At the time, I was shooting a lot of medium format. Matter of fact, mostly medium format at the time. I had a Mamiya 645 Super, 3 lenses, and that's where most of my work was coming from. And right in the early 2000s, digital photography was coming in. Film was quickly obsolete, and film cameras were gone, and digital cameras came in. And I noticed a great change in photography. I was producing images that I don't even know how many megapixels a 645 image is now, but I noticed a lot of the cameras that were coming out, there was no medium format. Everything, like I was a Nikon shooter also, and everything was APS-C. It seemed like the cameras that I had were obsolete, the lenses that I had were obsolete, and I was going to end up starting over. I was producing images on a 645 that are probably what would be considered 60, 70, 80, 100 megapixel, and I was going to start over with a camera that was producing 8 megapixel that was thousands of dollars that I did not have. So because of the economics of it all, one way or another, not able to sell cameras, not able to sell images, not able to support my family, and not willing at that point to completely start over in photography, it was time to quit. So at that point, I actually went back to school. I got a degree, got a desk job, and more importantly, for 15 years, my wife and I actually pursued another passion of ours. Right after the photography door closed, the door that opened was a position in our church to work with the youth. My degree is not in ministry, but it was a Christian education. So we spent the next 15 years of our lives working with teenagers. In fact, you'll hear me mention from time to time the name Stephen. Stephen, actually, I've known him for a very long time now. We started out when he was 15 in our ministry, and he's now 30. He's our technical advisor. And I actually had the privilege of doing his and his wife Jessica's wedding. No, I'm not an ordained minister, but I spent a lot of time in ministry work over 15 years. So that is why I got out of photography. And I'll be really honest with you, everybody. It broke us. It literally drove us into bankruptcy. And I saw getting out of photography as the only way to really salvage things. I had to start over with my life, and that was the only way to do it. I boxed up all my images. I almost threw them away. I didn't throw them away. I almost threw them away. But I had to start over with my life. I had to reinvent myself. And tomorrow when we talk, we're going to get Jenny involved, because now we are going to be talking about why we are getting back into photography. So this video didn't turn out. I was a little bit stuttery in this video, but I hope you get the point. I hope you understand the content, and I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for visiting Chris G Photography. There is going to be a website, chrisgphotography.com, coming up pretty soon. It's going to take me some time. Got to talk to Stephen about it. And in the interim, thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow with another video. Thank you.